Leo is not just a zodiac sign. Leo is fire, loyalty, a wide-open heart, and an unshakable pride. When a Leo loves you, you feel it in every gesture, every glance, every word, powerful, sincere, and without hidden motives. But when you hurt them, the shift is immediate and undeniable. It doesn't come through loud anger, but through a silence that freezes, a distance that cannot be crossed again, and through the karmic consequences that life will deliver on its own. In today's video, I want to guide you through 10 reasons why you should never hurt a Leo, and why the universe always seems to stand behind them when such wounds are inflicted. This isn't just about astrology, it's about the living truth of how a Leo gives their love, holds their loyalty, and responds when that sacred trust is broken. Each reason shared here is not meant to scare, but to remind us of the deep spiritual value that a Leo brings into our lives and the inevitable cost of taking that for granted. Listen carefully, because once you cross a Leo in the wrong way, it's not just the relationship that changes, it's the entire course of your life that may quietly begin to shift in ways you never expected. A Leo may smile after you betray them. They may even offer you words of forgiveness, speak to you with courtesy, and move through shared spaces as if nothing significant happened. But make no mistake, they do not forget. Deep inside, where their fire burns steady and fierce, the memory of betrayal carves itself into their soul. Leo does not carry bitterness the way others might. They carry the wound as a sacred reminder of where their trust was misplaced. And once trust is broken, the part of their heart that once welcomed you will close, like a gate that never opens again. Betraying a Leo is not a wound that simply fades over time. It is an act that unsettles something cosmic, something larger than you can see. You have not just broken a bond with a person, you have dishonored the loyalty, the pure intentions, the unwavering belief they placed in you, and the universe responds to that. Quietly at first, a missed opportunity here, a fraying relationship there. But as time moves on, the weight of your actions gathers. Karma never shouts. It moves in silence, weaving lessons into your life until you begin to feel the void you created. Where once there was support, now there is indifference. Where once there was admiration, now there is emptiness. And here is the truth no one tells you. Leo does not need to punish you. Their absence is punishment enough. Their retreat, their silence, their refusal to return to the open-hearted place where you once stood, that is the beginning of your lesson. Life will reflect back to you the loneliness, the loss, the unseen consequences of taking for granted a heart that only ever wanted to see you thrive. Betraying a Leo is not just a mistake against them, it is a spiritual error against yourself, and the karmic price you pay will always be heavier, always be more profound than you imagined when you made the choice to betray their trust. Leo carries their pride like a silent, steady flame, not the shallow vanity that demands attention, but the deep-rooted dignity that holds them upright even when the world tries to break them. It is this quiet pride that shapes every part of who they are, how they love, how they forgive, and especially how they protect their inner world. When you hurt a Leo, you don't just bruise their feelings, you strike at something sacred inside them. And a Leo, no matter how much they once loved you, will never allow themselves to stay in a space where their worth is questioned, where their light is dimmed, or where their heart is no longer honored. When a Leo's pride is wounded, they do not explode into dramatic scenes. They do not beg for explanations or chase after apologies. They retreat gracefully, powerfully, and completely. They close the doors that once stood wide open. They pull back the warmth you took for granted, not out of cruelty, but out of a profound self-respect that refuses to let them shrink for anyone. You may still see them, you may still hear their laughter from across the room, but you will feel the wall they have built between you tall, firm, unbreakable, and you will realize you are no longer welcome where you once stood without question. This withdrawal is not punishment, it is protection. It is a Leo reclaiming their sacred space, recognizing that love without respect is not love worth receiving. And when that retreat happens, karma does not remain silent. Life will mirror back to you the very abandonment you created. Friendships will falter, support will weaken, and you will find yourself reaching out for warmth only to touch coldness. The universe does not tolerate the violation of a soul that stood in dignity and offered itself openly. It ensures that those who disrespected that dignity feel the sting of isolation, the absence of trust, the weight of having been seen and chosen, and then lost, because they did not know how to honor what was given. When a Leo closes themselves to you, understand, it is final. No amount of regret or remorse can restore the space you once occupied, and the karmic echo of losing that place will ripple through your life in ways you cannot control until you learn to respect in others the sacred pride you once so carelessly wounded. When a Leo loves, it is not a cautious, measured offering. It is a full, fearless surrender of their heart, a giving that asks for nothing but honesty in return. There are no hidden games, no silent calculations beneath their affection. Their love shines openly, the way the sun rises each morning without asking whether the world deserves its light. To be loved by a Leo is to be seen fully, held fiercely, and believed in without question. It is a rare, incandescent warmth that makes you feel more alive simply by standing in its glow. And because it is so pure, so freely given, many take it for granted, mistaking that consistency for something that will always be there, no matter how carelessly they treat it. But the truth is, Leo's love, while abundant, is not endless for those who do not honor it. If you betray their trust, if you belittle their efforts, if you choose to meet their genuine heart with indifference or deception, you do not simply disappoint them. You extinguish a flame that once burned for you alone. And once that flame goes out, it does not reignite. Leo will not beg you to see their value. They will not wait for you to realize what you had. They will simply remove their light from your life, a quiet, irrevocable departure that leaves behind an emptiness you cannot easily replace. Karma watches this exchange closely. It sees the imbalance created when pure love is met with carelessness, and in time, it corrects it. Slowly you will find that the warmth in your own life begins to thin. The moments that once filled you with joy feel colder, less vibrant. Connections that once came easily seem harder to hold on to. You search for someone who will love you with that same intensity, that same open-hearted devotion, and you will find that kind of love is not so easily found again. To lose a Leo's love is not simply to lose a relationship. It is to lose a part of yourself that only bloomed because they believed in it. And the universe ensures that you feel the absence of that rare, golden light long after the person who carried it has walked away. You are left with the memory of the sun you once stood beneath, knowing you will not stand there again. And that is karma's way of reminding you, pure love is never a guarantee. It is a gift, one that must be cherished the moment it is placed in your hands. Strength in a Leo is not always loud. It does not always show itself in confrontations or grand gestures of defiance. Instead, it often appears in the way they fall silent, the way they step back with a dignity so profound that it speaks louder than any words ever could. When you hurt a Leo, they do not waste their energy plotting revenge or trying to make you feel the pain you caused. They are far too wise, far too rooted in their own worth, to descend into battles that would only cheapen the purity of what they once offered. Instead, they withdraw into their silence, powerful, measured, complete, and allow life itself to balance the scales. A Leo knows that nothing in this universe goes unseen. Every act of betrayal, every careless word, every moment of disregard leaves an imprint that the universe does not ignore. They trust this truth deeply. They do not chase justice because they know justice is already in motion, even when it is invisible to the human eye. They do not scream their wounds to the world. They carry them quietly, and in that silence, they are stronger than any storm you could ever create against them. And it is within that silence that karma begins its slow, certain work. Those who wronged them will eventually face their own reflection, through lost opportunities, through friendships that falter, through dreams that crumble without clear reason. The universe arranges it all with a precision no human hand could replicate. You may not realize at first that the coldness creeping into your life is the echo of the cold you forced upon someone who only ever offered you warmth. But eventually you will. You will feel it in the hollow victories, the applause that feels empty, the relationships that feel brittle where once they were alive. Leo does not need to seek revenge because they understand something most never learn. The universe is already built to correct imbalances. The silence they give you is not absence. It is a mirror, a sacred space where the consequences of your choices can find you without interference. And when you finally feel the loss, the longing, the inexplicable sense that something luminous has gone missing from your world, you will understand that it was not just a person you lost, it was the privilege of standing close to a soul who knew how to love fiercely without ever needing to destroy. And that is a karma no apology can ever undo. When a Leo is wounded, they do not remain broken for long. Yes, they will grieve. They will sit with their pain, feeling every sharp edge of betrayal, every weight of disappointment. But Leo is ruled by fire, and fire, no matter how diminished, always finds a way to burn bright again. In their quiet, in their solitude, they begin the work of rebuilding, not out of spite, not to prove anything to anyone, but because it is in their nature to rise, to turn their suffering into strength, to turn their heartbreak into a deeper, sharper wisdom that no one can ever take from them again. At first, you may think they are simply recovering, passing through a difficult phase that will eventually circle back to you, but you will soon realize this is not a cycle, it is a rebirth. The Leo you wounded does not return as they were, they return transformed, stronger, wiser, and no longer carrying the space in their heart that once belonged to you. They pour their energy into themselves now, into new dreams, into new loves, into a life that no longer has room for the past, and the brilliance of their rebirth will be undeniable. It will shine through everything they do. It will reach you, but only from a distance. You cannot cross. This is where the true weight of karma settles in, because you will see them succeed, you will see them laugh again, but not with you. You will see them loved, but by someone else. You will watch them become everything you once believed you were a part of, and realize that you are only a shadow in the story they have outgrown. The place you once held in their life is not empty. It has been filled with a new light, one that you can no longer touch. You are not the hero in their new chapter. You are a lesson they learned along the way. There is no bargaining with this loss, no path back to the warmth you discarded. Karma does not allow it. It makes you watch, it makes you remember, it makes you understand that when you harm a soul as fierce and loyal as a Leo's, the greatest punishment is not their anger, it is their absence. It is witnessing their triumph without being able to share in it. It is realizing too late that they did not need you to shine. They only needed to remember they could do it all along. And by then, all you can do is watch as their fire rises higher and higher, out of reach, a brilliance you can admire, but never again hold. When you hurt a Leo, the wound you create is not contained to just one relationship. The ripples extend far beyond what you can see, because to have a Leo in your life is to be surrounded by a rare kind of energy. An energy that cheers for you in rooms you're not even in, that stands up for you when you doubt yourself, that believes in your dreams even on the days you can hardly lift them off the ground. Leo doesn't offer half-hearted loyalty. They give you the kind of support that feels like standing in sunlight, constant, generous, and powerful enough to make you believe you can be more than you ever thought possible. But when you betray that light, when you take their presence for granted, you do not just lose a friend, a partner, or a companion. You lose a force that was actively weaving strength, respect, and opportunity into the fabric of your life. The loss will not announce itself with thunder. It will creep in quietly, subtly. First, through the absence of their encouragement, that voice that once lifted you when you faltered will be gone. Then, through the small fractures in your confidence, the silent withdrawals from people who once stood firmly in your corner, the energy you once carried, fed and illuminated by their belief in you, will begin to dim. And this is karma at its most precise. because the universe does not simply punish you by removing Leo from your life. It strips away the other layers of support, admiration, and connection you once took for granted. Opportunities will start to feel harder to grasp. Recognition will seem more distant. Relationships will lack the warmth and depth you once enjoyed, but now can't seem to find again. It will feel like walking through a familiar world that somehow became colder, harsher, emptier, and you will not be able to name exactly when it shifted, but deep down you will know. It shifted the moment you chose to harm a heart that was pure, loyal, and unwaveringly on your side. Hurting a Leo does not end with losing their love. It initiates a slow, irreversible loss of every good thing their energy once attracted into your life. And no matter how far you run, no matter how many new connections you try to forge, something will always be missing. The irreplaceable warmth of someone who wanted nothing more than to see you thrive. That light is sacred. Once it is gone, it does not return, and no amount of regret will ever be enough to bring it back. There is another truth about hurting a Leo that often goes unspoken, a consequence not just of losing their love, their loyalty, or their support, but of losing the version of yourself that existed because they believed in you. When a Leo stands beside you, they do more than just offer encouragement. They reflect back a vision of you at your strongest, your brightest, your most capable. They see the parts of you that you sometimes cannot see yourself. In their eyes, you are more than your fears, more than your failures. You are someone worthy of admiration, of devotion, of greatness. And that reflection becomes a part of how you see yourself. It builds you up in ways you don't even realize until it is no longer there. When you betray or hurt a Leo, you do not simply fracture the relationship. You shatter that reflection. You lose the mirror that once showed you your best self. And in the absence of that light, doubts begin to creep in. You may still move forward, you may still achieve, but it won't feel the same. Victories feel quieter, confidence feels harder to hold. The silent power that came from being truly, deeply believed in is missing. And no matter how many new faces surround you, no one sees you quite the way that Leo once did. This is a more subtle, more personal karma. It doesn't strike loudly. It lingers. It lives in the small moments, the hesitation before you speak, the questioning before you act, the loneliness that visits even when you are not alone. It is the deep, inescapable sense that somewhere along the way, you lost a part of your own spirit. Not because it was taken from you, but because you allowed the one person who nourished it to walk away. And that is a lesson the universe ensures you will carry, quietly but relentlessly, until you finally understand what it means to lose not just someone's love, but the brighter version of yourself that their love helped you become. There is another consequence, quieter but no less devastating, that unfolds when you hurt a Leo. You lose access to the realm of possibility they once opened for you. Leo, by their very nature, is expansive. They do not just love you, they elevate you. They bring opportunities into your life, not always in obvious transactional ways, but through the sheer force of their optimism, their belief in abundance, their natural magnetism that attracts growth, creativity, and new beginnings. When you are loved by a Leo, you are drawn into a bigger story, one where dreams seem closer, where risks seem worth taking, where life feels larger, fuller, richer. When you wound that connection, you do not only sever emotional ties, you sever your access to that larger world they helped you believe in. Doors that once seemed open begin to close. Ideas that once felt exciting feel suddenly out of reach. The future that once seemed vivid and full of potential now feels muted, narrowed. You may not immediately link the change to their absence, but it is their energy, their encouragement, their fearless belief in what could be, that once expanded your view of what was possible. Without it, life becomes smaller, not because they took anything away, but because you rejected the very energy that was trying to lift you higher. This is the kind of karma that reshapes the landscape of your life over time. You will look back one day and realize that the best version of your future was tied, quietly and invisibly, to the hand you let go of when you hurt them. Leo was never just loving you in the present. They were helping build a future where you could thrive beyond your own limited imagination. And when you betray that gift, the universe does not punish you with cruelty. It simply allows you to walk a narrower road, one where the horizons are harder to reach and the dreams are harder to believe in without the fire that once burned beside you. If there is one truth I hope you carry with you after today, it is this: hurting a Leo is never just about the moment. It is a choice that sends ripples into every corner of your life, a quiet undoing of warmth, loyalty, light, and possibility. A Leo's love is not a common gift. It is a rare fire, one that chooses you, lifts you, believes in you even when you doubt yourself. And when you betray that fire, you do not simply lose their presence. You lose the parts of yourself that shined brighter because they were there. The universe does not punish out of anger. It simply mirrors what you have sown. When you take for granted a soul that loved you purely, karma ensures that you feel the emptiness left behind. Not immediately, perhaps, not with the violence you might expect, but with a slow, undeniable shift in your relationships, in your dreams, in the quiet spaces where joy used to live. So, honor the ones who love you without reservation. Protect the hearts that beat boldly for you. And if you have been lucky enough to stand in the light of a Leo's love, remember, it is not a light that waits forever. Cherish it while you can, because once it is gone, all the longing in the world will not be enough to call it back.